So Wayne, thank you very much for your time today. We're going to be chatting about the newly created CFO role with Australian Mentoring Services. But maybe to start with, you could just introduce yourself and a little bit about your background.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. My name is Wayne Zara. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Australian Mentoring Services. I've been working in disability for approximately 15 years, supporting people with a psychosocial disability around their day-to-day supports. So we specialise in supporting people with complex behaviours, particularly people with a psychosocial disability. In some instances, we support the people that other people don't want to support. And we try to deliver a high quality support.
So what I'd like to talk about now is a little bit more information about the services that AMS offer.
Yeah, so we deliver two major services, one being supported independent living still, and the other part of our business is community participation. So still, we have about 45 participants out of 100 participants in the organisation, and that probably creates about 80% of our revenue, whereas our supported community participation is about 20% of our revenue.
Now we're here today in your Campbelltown office. Can you tell me what the locations are of the various properties that you have, and also with that, how many are owned, how many are leased, how that sort of works?
So we lease all our properties. We've got about 20 different still locations going across Sydney metropolitan area, going down to Wollongong.
Well, now we've talked about the organisation, and I think everybody's got a good picture of how that works. I'm keen to understand now a little bit more about the role itself of the CFO.
So currently AMS has outsourced all our financial functions. So what we will be looking at doing with the CFO position is to bring that internal. So AMS will be looking at what we would require in terms of a functional domain within the organisation. So we'd be looking for them to come in, have a look at what we've got currently in terms of functionability, in terms of the transition from an external into an internal department, looking at what the business requires, and then looking at what the financial team would require to operate day to day. So we're looking for someone that can guide the business into our next step. As you mentioned, we're a 3-year-old business. We've grown rapidly but steadily in terms of the business. Our revenue is approximately 18 million. We have capital reserves that are ready to be utilised in the best opportunity. So we're looking for someone to come in with that strategic lens to have a look at what would be in the best interest of the organisation on how to utilise that and get the best return for our participants and for the organisation.
So it's really being a guide for yourself and the executive team on, you don't know what you don't know. To start with, it's okay, that there are key functions that we need to perform, and then it's that sort of guidance, hand-holding of, well, have you thought of this or have you thought of that? Is that true?
Yep, that's right. The organisation doesn't have a lot of financial acumen within the business, so that's one of the key areas that we're looking to strengthen to sit alongside the growth of the business.
And will you need them to, as the organisation grows, sit on any committees?
Yes, I think we'll be looking at starting a financial committee or a subcommittee, a financial subcommittee that would specifically look at the day-to-day runnings of the business, but also the strategic direction of how we use our capital and where we put that capital.
The plan moving forward, do you have targets in place at the moment for where you want to be in, say, 5 years or 10 years or anything like that?
We have a current strategic plan that over the next 3 years that we would hit a revenue base of 25 million. So we wanted to put in place a stable growth plan. We're not interested in growing for the sake of growing if it's not sustainable. So we want to continue to grow the business, but we want to do that in a sustainable and considered manner.
So Wayne, thank you very much. Really appreciate your time. It was great to be in the Campbelltown office. I think we've got a really good understanding of the role now. I think it's quite an exciting opportunity at this stage of your growth, and looking forward to sharing it with our network. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zena. Thanks for having me.